The rat is the size of a house cat. It sits on the edge of the wooden stairwell, grooming itself. Its fur is slick with something that isn't water. The stairwell leads down into what used to be a basement, but now, after 3 decades of human density, it's called a cellar apartment. 12 people live down there. The rat doesn't move when the woman walks past. It knows she won't chase it. There's an unspoken contract here. The rats eat the garbage doesn't pile up quite as high, and everyone pretends this is normal. This is 5 Points, Manhattan, 1860. You're standing at the intersection of Anthony Cross and Orange Streets, though the city will rename them later, trying to scrub away the shame. Around you, the buildings lean into each other like drunks. They weren't built this way. They've settled. The ground beneath 5 Points is landfill, literally a filled-in pond called the Collect. Freshwater once. Now it's a soggy mass of construction debris, animal carcasses, and human waste that never quite solidified. The buildings sink a few inches every year. The floors inside are warped. Doors don't close right. And when it rains, the cellars flood with a brown mixture that residents have stopped trying to name. You can smell it before you see it. Step off the cobblestones and onto the wooden planks that cover the open sewer trench. The planks are rotting. Some have gaps wide enough to see the river of waste flowing underneath. Thick, slow-moving, the color of rust and oil. The smell is ammonia and rot, and something sweet that shouldn't be sweet. It coats the back of your throat. You'll taste it for hours. A child runs past you, barefoot. Her feet slap against the wet wood, and she doesn't look down. She's maybe 7. Her dress is an adult's dress, cut down badly, dragging in the filth. She's laughing, playing. This is her normal. The numbers don't lie. 5 Points is home to approximately 15,000 people crammed into an area of roughly 4 city blocks. Do the math. That's 3,050 people per block. In a modern New York City apartment building, you might have 200 people per block. Here we're talking about 20 times that density. But the number that matters isn't people per block. It's people per room. The average cellar apartment houses 12 occupants in a single room measuring roughly 15 by 20 feet. That's 300 square feet, 25 square feet per person. A modern prison cell in the United States gives inmates 70 square feet. You have less space than a convict, and you're sharing it with 11 strangers. There are no beds, not in the traditional sense. Beds are piles of rags in the corners. You rent your pile by the night. 3 cents if you're lucky. 5 if the landlord knows you're desperate. The pile next to yours might be empty when you fall asleep and occupied by a corpse when you wake up. This happens often enough that it's not worth mentioning. The only light comes from a small window at street level. Except street level is now a foot above your head because the building has sunk and the street has been raised with fill. So the light that comes through is dim, filtered through years of grime and the legs of people walking past. You learn to tell time by the shadows of boots. You try to breathe shallow. Your lungs don't cooperate. The air is thick. It has weight. When you inhale, you're not just pulling in oxygen, you're pulling in particles. Coal smoke from the factories along the East River, wood smoke from the cooking fires, human exhalation from 12 bodies in a sealed room. The humidity from wet clothes that never dry because there's nowhere to hang them outside, and no heat to evaporate the moisture. And then there's the smell. It's layered. The top note is sewage. That ammonia burn from the open trench outside. Underneath is rotting food because there's no refrigeration and what people can afford spoils fast. Then there's the smell of unwashed bodies. Not the smell of sweat from a workout. The smell of sweat that's been reabsorbed and resecreted for weeks. The smell of skin that's breaking down because it never gets dry. And underneath all of that, faint but persistent, is the smell of death. It's coming from the building itself. The floorboards have absorbed decades of human fluid. Blood. Urine. Worse. When it's hot, the wood releases it back into the air. You want to cover your nose. Everyone does it first, but your hand smells the same. There's no escape. It's Tuesday night. The tavern on the corner, Old Brewery, hasn't closed since it opened in 1792. It used to brew beer. Now it brews violence. The ground floor is a saloon. The upper floors are divided into 75 rooms, though calling them rooms is generous. They're wooden partitions 7 feet high, no ceilings. You can hear everything. Everything. A man stumbles out the front door. He's bleeding from his mouth. 2 teeth are missing, fresh missing, because the blood is bright red and flowing. He spits into the street, doesn't look back. Keeps walking, this is mild. Last week, someone was thrown through the second-story window. He lived. Broke both legs, but lived. The window still hasn't been repaired. It's covered with a tarp that flaps in the wind and lets the rain in. Inside, the crowd is 3 deep at the bar. The liquor is rot gut. Industrial alcohol flavored with tobacco juice and turpentine to give it character. It costs 2 cents a glass. You can get blackout drunk for a dime. Most people do. It's not recreation, it's anesthesia. A woman is passed out in the corner. She's been there since morning. No one moves her. Her dress is soaked, whether from spilled drinks or her own urine, it doesn't matter. She's breathing, so she's fine. When she wakes up, she'll buy another drink. The prostitutes work the back rooms. They're called panel houses because the walls have removable panels. You rent the room. The girl goes in with you, and while you're distracted, her partner slides open the panel and steals everything you came in with. Wallet, shoes, coat, sometimes your pants. By the time you're done, you leave with nothing. If you complain, you get a knife. No one complains twice. This is Tuesday. Sunday is worse. The 5 points. Gangs don't wear colors. They don't need to. You know who's who by their teeth, or lack thereof. The dead rabbits, Irish mostly, carry a dead rabbit on a pike when they march to a fight. It's symbolic. It's also disgusting because the rabbit is actually dead, and after 3 days in July heat, it's a maggot-covered warning. The Bowery boys counter them with bats wrapped in barbed wire. The roach guards carry knives made from sharpened fence posts. Street fights aren't scheduled. They erupt. Usually over territory. Who controls which block, which tavern, which brothel. But sometimes it's just boredom, or pride, or because someone looked at someone wrong. When a fight starts, you move. Not away, there's nowhere to go. You press yourself against a building and you watch where the crowd flows. The fighters number in the dozens, sometimes hundreds. They use bricks, bottles, brass knuckles, pistols if they have them. The police don't intervene. The police won't come to 5 points after dark. Even in daylight, they travel in groups of 6 minimum. The fights end when someone gets maimed badly enough that the crowd loses interest, or when someone dies. Death is actually preferable because the body gets dragged away fast. Maimed men scream for hours. You watch a man take a brick to the side of his head. The sound is wet, not the crack you expect. Wet, because the brick breaks the skin first, then the skull. He drops. Someone steps over him and keeps swinging. The women who survive here don't survive by accident. They work. Constantly. The lucky ones sew piecework in the tenements. Shirts, gloves, artificial flowers. They're paid by the item. A shirt takes 4 hours and pays 6 cents. You need to make 40 shirts a week to afford rent and food. That's 160 hours. There are 168 hours in a week. The math doesn't work. It's not supposed to. So they cut corners. They skip meals. They sleep 4 hours a night. They send their children to work. 5-year-olds rolling cigars in factories, 8-year-olds selling newspapers on corners at 5 a.m. The children bring home pennies. Every penny counts. The unlucky women turn to prostitution. Unlucky is the wrong word. It's not luck. It's inevitability. When you can't make rent, when your children are hungry, When the landlord says he'll take alternative payment, you don't have options. You have transactions. The brothels are tiered. The high-end houses are on Broadway. Clean sheets, actual beds, clients who bathe. Those women are young and pretty and won't last 5 years before they're used up and replaced. The mid-tier houses are in 5 Points proper. Rougher clients, no sheets, payment up front. The low tier isn't houses at all. It's alleys, it's cellars. It's a woman standing in a doorway charging a nickel for 3 minutes against a wall. A girl who starts at 15 is dead by 25. Usually from disease, syphilis, gonorrhea, cholera. Sometimes from violence, sometimes from childbirth, sometimes from suicide. No one keeps count. The cholera outbreaks follow a pattern. Every summer, like clockwork. The temperature hits 85 degrees, the humidity spikes, and the collect pond, despite being filled in 60 years ago, starts to seep. The water table rises, the cellars flood, and with the water comes cholera. You know it started when the children stop playing in the streets. Cholera moves fast. You're healthy in the morning. By afternoon, you're cramping. By evening, you're vomiting. By midnight, you're shitting water. Clear water. Your body is emptying itself. You're so thirsty you'd drink anything, but drinking makes it worse. Your skin turns gray. Your eyes sink into your skull. Your fingers and toes go blue. And then you're dead. 12 hours. Healthy to corpse. The mortality rate in 5 Points during an outbreak is 60%. In wealthier neighborhoods uptown, it's 12%. The difference isn't medicine, it's water. Uptown has access to the Croton Aqueduct, clean water piped in from 40 miles north. 5 Points gets its water from shallow wells dug into the same contaminated ground the cellars are built on. The wells are 15 feet from the overflowing privies. The math is simple. During the 1849 outbreak, 5 Points loses 400 people in 6 weeks. The bodies pile up faster than the city can collect them. Families drag their dead to the curb and leave them. The corpse wagons come twice a day. Sometimes the bodies are gone when they arrive. Stolen. Medical schools pay for cadavers. No one asks where they came from. You're walking down Paradise Square. The name is ironic. It's the central courtyard of 5 Points, a patch of dirt roughly 50 feet across, surrounded by tenements on all sides. There's a water pump in the center. It's the only source of fresh water for 3 blocks. The line is 20 people deep. They're waiting with buckets, jugs, tin cups. The pump handle is wrapped in a rag. The rag is brown, not from dirt, from the hands that have gripped it. Thousands of hands, unwashed, diseased. The rag is a disease vector, but no one has a choice. You need water. When you pull the handle, the water that comes out is cloudy. It has a smell. You're not supposed to drink it straight, everyone knows that. But boiling requires fuel, and fuel costs money. So most people drink it anyway. They take their chances. A child is playing next to the pump. He's found a dead pigeon. He's poking it with a stick. The pigeon is bloated, covered in flies. The child is barefoot. His feet are inches from the runoff from the pump. Standing water mixed with mud and spillage. He'll go home. He'll eat with those hands. He'll probably be dead in a month. No one stops him. There's no point. The old brewery is condemned, not officially, but everyone knows. The building is structurally unsound. The foundation is sinking into the collect at a rate of 2 inches per year. The walls lean outward. Cracks run from the foundation to the roof. When the wind blows, the whole structure sways. Inside, 75 families live in those 7 by 9 foot rooms. The walls between rooms don't reach the ceiling. Sound travels. Smell travels. Disease travels. A woman gives birth in room 23. No midwife, no doctor. Just her and 2 neighbors who've done this before. The baby comes out blue, not breathing. They try to clear its airway. Nothing. The baby is dead. They wrap it in a scrap of cloth and carry it outside. There's a pile behind the building. Uncollected garbage, dead animals, and yes, dead babies. This isn't uncommon. Infant mortality in 5 Points is estimated at 50%. Half of all children born here don't see their first birthday. The woman goes back to room 23. She'll be pregnant again in 6 months. This is survival. You keep trying. The gang fight breaks out at dusk. Dead rabbits versus Bowery boys. It starts with an insult. Someone's sister, someone's turf. The details don't matter. What matters is the sound. The roar of men. The crack of wood on bone. The wet thud of bodies hitting cobblestones. You flatten yourself against a wall. A man runs past you, blood streaming from his nose. Another man chases him with a bottle. The bottle is broken. The jagged edge catches the light. The Bowery boys have the advantage. They're on their home turf, and they've got numbers. But the dead rabbits are vicious. They fight like they have nothing to lose because they don't. A pistol fires. The sound is sharp, cuts through the noise. Someone screams. The crowd shifts. You see a man on the ground, clutching his stomach. Blood pools around him. Dark blood. Arterial. No one helps him. Helping him means being next. The fight lasts 20 minutes. When it's over, 3 men are dead. A dozen more are bleeding. The crowd disperses like nothing happened. The bodies stay in the street until morning. You try to sleep. It's 2 a.m. The cellar apartment is dark except for the faint glow from the street-level window. 11 other people are in the room with you. You can hear them breathing, coughing, snoring. Someone's crying quietly, a child maybe or a woman. It's hard to tell, the floor is cold, damp. Your bed is a pile of rags that smells like mildew and someone else's sweat. You pull them around you anyway. It's October. It'll be colder soon. Something crawls across your leg, you don't flinch. Could be a rat. Could be a roach. Could be bed bugs. Though you already know you have those. You've stopped counting the bites. You close your eyes. The smell is still there. The taste of it coats your tongue. You breathe through your mouth, it doesn't help. Somewhere above you, footsteps. Heavy. Uneven. Drunk. A bottle smashes. Someone shouts. A woman screams. Then silence. You don't react. You've learned not to. Reacting means getting involved. Getting involved means getting hurt. You lie there, eyes closed, breathing shallow, trying to ignore the itch of the bed bugs, the ache in your back, the hollow feeling in your stomach. This is night 1. You have to do it again tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after. This is 5 Points. This is survival, and you're not sure how long you'll last.